Gopi Jana Vallabha Givaradhari. Jai Gopi Jana Vallabha Givaradhari. Jai Gopi Jana Vallabha Givaradhari. Yamuna Tira Vanachari. Yamuna Tira Vanachari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunda Vihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunda Vihari. Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Givaradhari. Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Givaradhari. Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Givaradhari. Yashodanandana Rajanaranyana. Yashodanandana Rajanaranyana. Yamuna Tira Vanachari. Yamuna Tira Vanachari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunda Vihari. Jaya Radha Madhava. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunda Vihari. Jaya Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parivaraja Kacharya Ashtottara Satya Sri His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Anantabhuti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai. ISKCON Founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai. Prem Se Gahal Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Sri Vasari Sri Gaura Bhaktarinda Ki Jai. Sama Veda Bhaktarinda Ki Jai. Gaura Premananda. All glories to the assembled Goswamis. All glories to the assembled Goswamis. All glories to the lotus feet of Sri Guru and Gaura. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. 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 Reading this morning in Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 7, Chapter 14, Text 41. It's called Ideal Family Life. At the end of the chapter, it's not really about that anymore. So we're on text 40 rather, huh? 40, yeah. Right. Is that on the board? I can.
No, all of
you all have your own devices, okay. go. Also, I mean, somebody can have this book. You want to take the book I have for a computer? I can do it. You all right?
We don't have so many computers.
So we have one here.
Yeah, take the book. Anyway, other people want to see it. That's okay. I'm so used to reading off a computer now. A book is such a strange thing. Yeah, text 40. Tattaha Acharyam Harim Kechit Samshadaya Saparyaya Upasta api na artada purushadisham tatorchayam harim kechit shamshadaya samarvyaya asata upastapi nartadha purushadisham tatorchayam harim kechit samshadaya saparyaya upasata upastapi narthada purushadisham tatorchayam harim kechit samshadaya saparyaya upasata upastapi narthada purushadisham Nas.
Tatorchayam harim kechit Samshradaya saparyaya Upasata upastapi Artada purushadisham
Tatorchayam harim kechit Samshradhaya saparyaya Upasata upastapi Nartada purushadisham
Tatorchayam harim kechit samshadhaya saparyaya upasata upastapi narthada purushadisham
Tatorchayam harim kechit samsadhaya sapayaya upasata upastapi natada purushadvisham
Tatoracham harim kechit samsradhaya saparyaya upasata upastapi narthada purushadvisham
Please. Upasata upasapi. Nartada purushadvisham.
Satyavachayam harim kechit.
Tatvachayam harim kechit.
Samshadaya sapayaya.
Samshadaya sapayaya.
Upasata upastapi.
Upasata upasapi.
Nartada
purushadvisham.
Tatorchayam harim kechit.
Tatvachayam harim kechit.
Samshadaya sapayaya.
Samshadaya sapayaya.
Upasata upastapi.
Upasata upasapi.
Nartada purusham visham.
Nartada purusham visham.
Tatorchayam harim kechit.
Tatvachayam harim kechit.
Samshadaya saparyaya.
Samshadaya sapayaya.
Upasata upastapi.
Upasata upasapi.
Nartada purushadvisham.
Nartada purushadvisham. Tataha. Thereafter. Acharyam.
The deity,
The deity.
Harim, who is the Supreme Personality of Godhead,
Who is the Supreme Personality of Godhead.
the form of the Lord being identical with the Lord.
The form of the Lord being identical with the Lord.
Kechit,
Kechit.
someone,
Someone.
Samshadhaya,
Samshadaya.
with great faith.
With great faith.
Saparyaya,
Saparyaya.
and with the required paraphernalia.
And with the required paraphernalia.
Upasate,
Upasate.
worships. Upasta api,
Upasta api.
although worshipping the deity
Although worshipping the deity
with faith and regularity.
with faith and regularity.
Na,
Not
artada,
Artada.
beneficial.
beneficial.
Purushadvisham, for those who are envious of Lord Vishnu and his devotees.
For those who are envious of Lord Vishnu and his devotees.
Translation. Sometimes the neophyte devotee offers all the paraphernalia for worshipping the Lord, and he factually worships the Lord as the deity. But because he is envious of the authorized devotees of Lord Vishnu, the Lord is never satisfied with his devotional service. Srila Prabhupada's purport. Deity worship is especially meant for purifying the neophyte devotees. Actually, however, preaching is more important. In Bhagavad Gita 18:69, it is said, Nacha tasman manusheshu kaschin me priya krittamaha. If one wants to be recognized by the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he must preach the glories of the Lord. One who worships the deity must therefore be extremely respectful to preachers. Otherwise, simply worshipping the deity will keep one on the lower stage of devotion. Namo Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimati Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namate Namaste Sarasate Deve Gauravari Pucharane Nivishesha Shunyavadi Paschacharya Sacharane Om Dhyanam Timbaram Dasya Ganam Janam Shalakaya Chaksur Militum Jainam Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha Anshkalpatrubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Chakraparam Pavanebhyo So, in the previous verse, it's mentioned that deity worship was introduced in the temple with all paraphernalia. When people saw in the beginning of Treta Yuga bad dealings among Brahmanas and Vaishnavas, so for that reason, from the beginning of Treta, the idea of deity worship was then introduced. Because in Satya Yuga, it was just meditating on Lord Vishnu. There's a different Yuga Dharma. And then Treta Yuga, sacrifice. And then Dwapara Yuga is the Dwapara Yuga is for actually deity worship, the Yuga Dharma. And then Kali Yuga, it's chanting the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. So here it says, although the Yuga Dharma for Dwapara Yuga is actually deity worship, that it was introduced, it says here at the beginning of Treta Yuga, where the Yuga Dharma is sacrifice. Yeah, he doesn't say this here, but sometimes when it says at the something is introduced at the end, that means the beginning. Someplace in Bhagavatam, you know, which end is the beginning and which end is the end of the yuga. It depends on whether you're looking back or forwards. So someplace like that. Anyway, the point is here that deity worship is introduced to repair, help people get over what the previous verses called mutually disrespectful dealings between mittaha, nrinam, between human beings, but especially when people saw this happening, then the sages and the Brahmanas introduced this deity worship. So then this verse is kind of interesting because this Purusha Dvisham, for those who are envious of Purusha, and the word for word, envious of Lord Vishnu and his devotees, but in the translation it's just mentioned devotees. One, because he's envious of the authorized devotees of the Lord is never satisfied with his devotional service. Because the reference of the word Purusha can mean the Lord, but it can also just mean a person. So, Prabhupada has it different ways because some acharyas understand it one way and some acharyas may never, previous commentators, I mean, may understand it another way, like that. But the point of repairing relationships by deity worship is that it's a personal relationship. If you're worshiping the Lord as a person, that person is there in the form of the deity. And and Prabhupada says here that this art, the deity, is Krishna himself, because just as we understand that Krishna is absolute, so there's no difference between Krishna and Krishna's name, similarly, there's no difference between Krishna and Krishna's picture or statue. The same principle is there. This is the absolute nature of the Lord, and that He can be manifest fully and completely in these particular forms, although some people may not be able to recognize it. So therefore, we are taught by Prabhupada how the deity in the temple we treat with great respect. He mentions how our deity worship has to be done with this consciousness that the Lord is there. Prabhupada tells, in one lecture, tells the story. In Calcutta, there's a famous jurist, judge, or legal authority named Ashutosh Mukherjee, very famous in Bengal. And there's a statue of him in some square in Calcutta, where he sits in that statue all year long. And the crows sit on his head. In the West we tend to have pigeons, but in India it's crows, who are the vermin birds that go everywhere. So their crows are sitting on his head and shoulders all year long. And they're defecating on the statue, so over the course of the year, Ashutosh Mukherjee's statue becomes covered with the stool of crows. But on this day, they're going to honor him on, I guess, probably his birthday. He says, in the morning, the city dispatches people, men with brushes, to clean the statue, and clean all the stool of the crows off with the statues in the morning. Then in the afternoon, there's a ceremony and dignitaries gather and they put garlands around the statue of Ashutosh Mukherjee. So Prabhupada laughs and then he says, in the morning, the municipal brush, the city brush, and in the afternoon, garlands. He said, our deity worship is not like that. You can't simply neglect. And I remember once going to some Hindu temple in Detroit, wasn't an ISKCON temple, and I see there's going to be a ceremony and somebody's taking a statue, a deity of Lord Krishna, and just going to change the clothes. He takes the deity, puts it down on the ground like this, over his nose, completely crazy. And he's clearly thinking this is a statue. But for us, we're taught, no, the deity is a person, and we're respecting him like the Lord in the temple, and therefore woken up, fed, bathed, dressed, so on. We have these. This is what's introduced with some shraddha, with great faith, and with all required paraphernalia. And so Prabhupada taught us very carefully how to worship the deity. But here, the other thing that Prabhupada really wants to point out is that your philosophy can't be love God and hate the devotees. Sometimes I've seen this among pujaris. they spend all their time with the Lord, who's like perfect and wonderful, and then when it comes to dealing with devotees, they get a little frustrated because they talk back sometimes. So he wants to make this point about is very beneficial, is to the importance of cultivating proper relationships with devotees. If one just worships the deity, but is not respectful to devotees, and especially those, he says, who are preachers, then one will not be recognized by the Lord. I mean, this because we are now, the Yuga Dharma is Sankirtan. And the word san, like here we see in this word samshradaya, with great faith. Some can be an all-purpose kind of intensifier, but it also means together. So Sankirtan means that you are not only is a complete, a full kirtan, but it also means together with devotees. That is basically, we are cultivating the holy name in the association of devotees. That's Sankirtan. When the Lord comes to propagate Sankirtan, he doesn't just come by himself. There's 5 of them, the Panchatattva. He's already a society, already a group, and then everybody joins together in chanting with all the devotees. So really, in Kali Yuga, one cannot really make advancement very easily by being a solitary worshipper. One needs the association of devotees. And it's more powerful because if you study the nature of Lord Krishna, you discover that God himself has a religion. If you ask anybody, what's God's religion? Well, he doesn't have to have religion, he's God, right? No, but actually he does. He worships devotees. That's his religion. That's what he does. That's why Lord Chaitanya appears. Krishna comes as a devotee. Because it's described in the Chaitanya Charitamrita that his main devotee, his most devoted devotee is Srimati Radharani. And he's amazed by her. And he says, you know, when I look at Radharani, I see that she's enjoying even more bliss than I am.
I'm sorry. I'm asking about the little child. Is it okay for you to speak?
I'm sorry?
The little child is not making any disturbance for you?
If what?
The little child.